Okay, this is Calvin Butler again with JCB Acquisitions, Senior Partner and Chief Operations Officer. This is training video number 4, I do believe, and this training session we're going to go over how to submit a deal to the JCB Acquisitions network, the investor network. This is very important. As you can see here, we're starting out at the career section here of the JCB website, of the JCB Acquisitions website. And you're going to go over here and you're going to click where it says submit a deal. This is for all our acquisition reps. You can come here and you can click and submit a deal to the JCB Acquisition Group. Now, one thing that you're going to have to remember that once you do this, each time you do anything within the back office area of the site, and you notice all the back office area of the site for all the employees have a different look than the public viewing area of the site. Everything that you need to sign in to access this area. So when you go to the submit a deal or any of the back office areas, you're going to have to initially sign in with your registration information. So only employees of JCB and members of the JCB Acquisition Group can actually access this area of the site. This is just for you all's access only. But once you find a property, you go into the foreclosure website, you located the property, you go into the property appraiser site, you got all the information you need, went to the Zillow.com and all these areas, all these access points are located within the JCB website in the back office area, so you have access to all this. Once you access all that, you're going to go here and you're going to submit a deal to the JCB network. And you have here where it says submit your deal online. And you're going to put in your member name. And you're going to put in your member number. And you're going to put in your phone number. You're also going to put in your mobile number. And you just go through the deal and put in whatever all the numbers you need to put in. You can also come back and put in your email address. And you just continue down. Now, once you get that information in, you go to where it says deal information. This is where you're going to submit your information on your deal, on your prospective deals. You put in your subject address, call street, and you go down here and you put in and it's just that simple. If there's a subdivision, you can put in the subdivision if you want to, zip code, put in zip code information, county. In this case, it's going to be Leon. And in the next area, you're going to see it ask you for the owner's asking price. Now, remember, you're going to be able to access a lot of information from this website. So when you go to the property appraiser's site, the county property appraiser site, you're actually going to be able to find the actual owner of the property. In most cases, the property may be listed with a realtor, and realtors really don't like to give out the names of the owners, but because of what we set up for you here with the tools that we have set up for you in the back office area, you're going to be able to actually locate the actual owners of the property. So you can actually contact them and ask them, say, hey, what do you want for the property? Just ask them, what do you want for the property? And most of the time, they will go ahead and tell you and say, we want X amount for it, really, because a lot of times the owners will actually accept less than what the realtors have listed on the property, because a lot of times, especially in today's market, there's a lot of people who are selling their property simply because they just can't afford it anymore, and they just really want to just get out from under that big mortgage note and try to cut back and just downsize. So there's a lot of times you'll be able to find properties that you'll be able to get a lot less, be able to get the asking price that the owners actually want for the property will be less than what the realtors have listed it for. So anyway, you go ahead and you put that there. Let's say they may be wanting $100,000 for the property. and you put that there. Sorry. And they're asking for $100,000, and then you put the price that you're offering for it. You may be offering them $70,000. There we go. And then you come down here and you put in what's called the tax assessed value. Now you're going to find this at the property appraisal site. At the county property appraisal site, you're going to be able to find what the actual tax assessed value of the property is. And a lot of times the tax assessed value is going to be a little less than what the actual market value of the property is. So your tax assessed value may be closer to that $70,000. To be honest with you. So you may have a tax assessed value sometimes higher than what you have offered, and sometimes it will be lower than what you have offered. Now, here's a good rule of thumb on the offer price. The formula that I use that has been successful for me is you take the market value of the property. And the market value of this property may be $150,000. And you take what they're asking for the property, which is $100,000. Okay? And you subtract that from the market value. That's a $50,000 difference. So you take that and then you divide that by 2, and you basically cut it in half. So you cut that $50,000 in half, which is going to be $25,000. And you generally use that as a guide as far as what you're asking for the property. So if they're asking you $100,000 for the property and the property value is $150,000, and you subtract that, and you take that and divide it by 2, and you subtract that, and you also have to take into effect if there are any repairs that's going to be needed on the property. So you can pretty much guesstimate on that too. So if you figure there's $20,000 on with repairs. So basically looking at about $40,000 less than what they're asking for, or $20,000 or $25,000 less, somewhere between $25,000 and $40,000 less than what they're asking for. It's got to be a good place to start on your initial bid. So I went ahead and just dropped it on $30,000 and asking and making an offer. Make them an offer of $70,000. So that's what I did. So on that particular thing, and here again, we'll go back down to the tax assessed value. The tax assessed value may be $67,000. It may be less. It may be more than what you're doing on your bid there. And you put in the last tax year, 2010, and you put in the subject property has an agent. Now in this case, we're going to say no. And then, well, let's say yes. For purposes, then let's say they have a listed price. Let's say they have it listed for $145,000 is what the agent has it listed for. Then you put the number of days that the house has been on the market. This is very important because the longer the house has been on the market, the greater your chance of getting a better deal on that property as far as getting it down to a area of where our investors are really going to want to take this deal. And that brings up another point. Our investors have a criteria, is this: they would not, for a house that's not in foreclosure, a house that hasn't been purchased by the bank yet or hasn't been foreclosed on, they have a rule of thumb of not to fund more than 70% of the market value of their house. In other words, house is worth $100,000, they're only going to pay at the maximum $70,000 for that house. And keep in mind, that is if the house is in pristine condition. If the house is in good condition, they will only pay about $70,000 for it. If it's in, need some repairs, whatever the case may be, you have to come down from that sum. And on a house that's actually been foreclosed on, they're only going to pay as much as 60% of the actual value of the property. So make sure you keep that in mind. All right. We're going to stop that right here, and I'm going to come back in part 2 and finish this up.